Okay. So we are looking today at Chapter 4, Lesson 4. This starts on page 149 in your math book. Before we open your math book, we're looking at dividing by tens, hundreds, and thousands. Now I want to think about how we multiply by tens, hundreds, and thousands. So first we're going to do a multiplication problem. If I have 200 times 50, what am I going to do? I'm going to put a box around my non-zeros. I'm going to multiply 2 times 5. When I multiply 2 times 5, I get 10. Then I'm going to add back all of my zeros. So 200 times 50 is 10,000. I'm going to follow the same process with division, only I will be dividing. So for example, if I want to divide 120, and I want to divide that by 4, I'm going to put a box around my non-zeros, and then I'm going to divide. 12 divided by 4. Remember that division is the opposite of multiplication. So I can think of this problem as 4 times a mystery number equals 12. What do I multiply 4 times to get to 12? 3. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I'm going to write my answer here, and then I'm going to bring down my 0. So 120 divided by 4 is 30. All right, open up your books to page 150. Open up your books to page 150, and let's do a couple of problems. All right. We'll start with 2,800 divided by 7. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you. All right, what is step 1? Step 1 is I draw a box around my non-zeros. And then it asks me, what basic fact can I use? Well, my basic fact is my non-zeros, 28 divided by 7. Again, I think in my head that 7 times my mystery number equals 28. What do I multiply 7 times to get to 28? 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm going to write my 4 here, and I'm going to add my zeros. So 2,800 divided by 7 is 400. Now what we're looking at here is 2,800 is 28 hundredths. 28 hundredths divided by 7 is 4 hundredths. And that's how they're talking you through it here. And we're doing the same thing by putting boxes around our numbers. We're thinking about the basic facts that can help us solve these problems. All right, I want you to go down to number 3. All right, step 1, I'm going to put a box around my non-zeros. And then I think, what division problem does this give me? This gives me 36 divided by 6. How can I think about it in multiplication? Well, I think 6 times a number equals 36. What do I multiply 6 times to get to 36? I multiply 6 times 6. So 36 divided by 6 is 6. I'm going to write my 6 here, and then I'm going to bring down my 0. So 360 divided by 6 is 60. All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4 might be a little bit tricky because if I put a box around my non-zeros, I get 2 divided by 5, and I don't want to do that. So for just this problem, I'm going to add 1 0 to that 2, and I'm going to put a box around it. All right, so now what do I have? My division problem, my basic fact, is 20 divided by 5. I want to think about this like multiplication. So I'm going to think 5 times what number will equal 20? Good. 5 times 4 equals 20. So 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So I'll write my 4 here, and now I'm going to bring down all the zeros that aren't in the box. So 2,000 divided by 5 equals 400. All right, let's look at number 5. 4,500 divided by 9. I'm going to put a box around my non-zeros, and that gives me 45 divided by 9. I'm going to think about it like multiplication because division is the opposite of multiplication. So I have 9 times a mystery number equals 45. 9 times what number equals 45? Good. 9 times 5. So 45 divided by 9 equals 5. I will write my 5 here. I will bring down my 2 zeros. 4,500 divided by 9 is 500. All right, 560 divided by 8. Box around my non-zeros. That gives me 56 divided by 8. So 8 times what number equals 56? Just think on that one just a little bit. All right, good. 8 times 7 equals 56. So 56 divided by 8 equals 7. So my 7 would go here, and I bring down my 0. 560 divided by 8 is 0. What am I going to need to be super careful about in these problems? Making sure that my zeros get put in. So always make sure and double check those zeros. All right, look at number 7. Now here again I have this 2 divided by 5. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to give the box 1 0. And I'm going to say 20 divided by 5. I can think about that as 5 times what number equals 20? Well, we already said earlier that 5 times 4 equals 20. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. I'll write my 4 here. Now I'm only going to bring down the zeros outside the box. So 200 divided by 5 is 40. All right, let's look at some patterns. Go to the next page. All right, look at 25 divided by 5. Now, I got to think about that as multiplication, and I think about that as 5 times what number equals 25? Well, 5 times 5 is 25. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. What about if I add a 0? 250 divided by 5. Well, I'm still going to use that basic fact of 25 divided by 5 to start me out. 25 divided by 5 is 5. And I bring over that 1 0. If I add another 0, I'm still using that basic fact. And I have 25 divided by 5, which is still 5, only this time I'm bringing over 2 zeros. So we're going to watch those zeros. Let's do a word problem. Jamal put 600 pennies into 6 equal rows. How many pennies were in each roll? So first I have to think, what is the division problem? Well, I have 600 pennies, and I'm dividing them into 6 equal groups. Now, for this problem, I can take the non-zeros and put a box around them and say 6 divided by 6. So 1 times what number, or 6 times what number equals 1? Oh, I said it wrong again. 6 times what number equals 6? Well, 6 times 1. So 6 divided by 6 equals 1. So I put my 1 here, and I bring over my 2 zeros. So how many are going to be in each roll? 100. Now, if you didn't look and see that 6 could be divided by 6, even if you put a box around the 60 and say 60 divided by 6, well, 60 divided by 6 is 10, because 10 times 6 equals 60, and then I would just bring over 1 0. So it still works. As long as you're following the rules, it will still work. All right. Selah has 6 times as many coins now as she had 4 months ago. If Selah has 240 coins now, how many coins did she have 4 months ago? So the number that she had 4 months ago times 6 equals the 240 that she has now. So now if I want to write that as a division problem, that's going to be 240 divided by 6 equals the number I don't know yet. And now I'm going to follow my procedure. I'm going to put a box around my non-zeros, and I'm going to say 24 divided by 6. I'll think about it like multiplication. 6 times what number equals 24? Good. 6 times 4 equals 24. So 24 divided by 6 equals 4. So I'll write my 4 here, and I'll bring down my 0. So 4 months ago, she had 40 coins. All right, I want you to finish the problems on page 150 and 151.